The profit, P of t, in thousands of dollars when 100 toys are sold can be estimated with the model P of t is equal to negative 3t squared plus 33t minus 30. Find when the company will break even or make a profit. So, we want to find when the company will break even. So to break even, that would mean the profit would equal 0. Or make a profit, that would imply that the profit is greater than 0. So we want to find both of those. So we really want to solve the inequality P of t is greater than or equal to 0. So then we have negative 3t squared plus 33t minus 30 is greater than or equal to 0. Alright, so let me think of this and treat this as an equation. So I'll rewrite it as equaling 0. And now I'll solve this quadratic equation. Let's try factoring. I'll factor out the negative 3, leaving t squared minus 11t plus 10. And that does factor further as t minus 1 by t minus 10. So now setting the variable factors to 0, right? Because negative 3 can't equal 0. So throw that away. T minus 1 can equal 0 if adding 1 to both sides, t equals 1. T minus 10 can equal 0 if adding 10, t equals 10. So those are the solutions of the equation. Alright, now we want to consider the inequality. So these are the break-even points when t is 1 and t is 10. Now we'll draw our number line with t equal 1 and t equal 10, and we'll test different points. Alright, so let's test a point in each interval. And I'm going to use the factored form, negative 3. So let's test into negative 3 by t minus 1 by t minus 10. Notice that that first factor is always a negative. Alright, so testing. Let's test x equals 0. I'm sorry, let's test t equals 0. If I test t equals 0, I would have negative 3 times 0 minus 1 times 0 minus 10. And so that would be a negative number, times 0 minus 1 is a negative number, and 0 minus 10 is a negative number. Negative times negative is negative. So over this interval, we get negative profit. Alright, now let's test a value between 1 and 10. So I'll test t equals 5. Testing t equals 5, I'd have negative 3 times 5 minus 1 times 5 minus 10. And so that would be a negative number times 5 minus 1 is a positive number times 5 minus 10 is a negative number. Negative times a negative is positive. And finally, testing a number greater than 10, I'll use t equals 12. Then I would have negative 3 times 12 minus 1 by 12 minus 10. And so that would be a negative number times a positive number times a positive number. Negative times a positive is negative. Alright, so now we wanted to find when the company will break even or make a profit. And so we translated that as being P of t is greater than or equal to 0. It's equal to 0 when x is 1 and when x is 10, and it's greater than 0 when P of t is positive. So on the number line, we would have this interval bracketed at 1 and 10, shading in between. As an inequality, we could write that t is greater than or equal to 1 and less than or equal to 10. Now, as our conclusion, since this was an application, we should write a sentence. Find when the company will break even or make a profit. The company will break even or make a profit when between, now let's be careful here, t is going from 1 to 10, but t is in hundreds of toys. So the company will break even or make a profit when between 100 and 1,000 toys are sold. And we'll write the word inclusive to say that we can include the endpoints.